What do the vast majority of model railroaders use a resin 3D printer for? I'll give you a hint. It's all in the details. Wink! This video is brought to you with support from my patrons on Patreon. These videos would not be possible without them, and if you'd like to join the Patreon community, you can follow the link in the description below and join for as little as $1 a month. So you've been thinking about getting a resin 3D printer for your model railroad and you're wondering what people use this for? Well, it's a lot of detail work for the most part. A lot of times people are buying these to print out custom detail parts for their model railroad. But what does that process look like? We're going to walk through that today. So let's go find some stuff to print. The first place that has the most resources to go look is probably Thingiverse. This is a great website full of free models that you can download, and all you have to do is search your scale, whether it's N scale or HO scale, and you can pretty much find what you want. Now, a little pro tip here, if you are looking for something in N scale or HO scale and you find it in the opposite scale or any other scale, you can just do the scaling in your slicer. All you have to do is figure out the ratios. I will give you what the ratios are. If you're trying to bring something to HO scale from an N scale model, you're going to multiply it to 184% its size, and if you are going to try to bring something down to N scale from HO scale, you're going to do 54% of its size. Also, if you're going to do Z scale from N scale, you're going to do 73% of your size. But all you got to do is go find some models. I'm grabbing some trash cans and some dumpsters and some pallets from Thingiverse. Now, you're not going to be able to find everything you want, so another option for this is Tinkercad, and you have seen me design stuff on Tinkercad plenty of times, and in this case I'm going to design my fire escape, my gutters, and my trash bags on Thingiverse, as well as the light fixtures. So Thingiverse is really great. There's tons of tutorials out there. All you need to do is export the models as STLs and then bring them into your slicer. There's a couple of good slicers out there. The one that I use is Chitubox. This is version 1.9.2, and it is the free version. So basically, one thing you can do is just drag and drop your models in from a file or folder, and you can see that I have this, and I just need to orient it. And when I'm orienting models, I tend to angle them. This is going to give them the best chance of succeeding because it reduces the amount of stress per layer when you're printing before the layers get heavily supported. So always angle your models when you're printing, unless it's just a really lightweight model. Even then, I'd still angle it. So I just go through and position all of the models that I made or that I downloaded, and then we can get to printing. I export this out and put it on a flash drive. This is the Voxel Proxima 8.9 Pro. It is a game changer, in my opinion, for resin 3D printing for model railroads. Why? Because it is a large format resin 3D printer. It has an 8.9 inch screen. For reference, my Eilgud Mars that you've seen me use before has a 6-inch screen. So this is big enough to be able to do stuff in HO scale. Now, a couple cool things about this that also I have modded. I have added a removable build plate. You can see it right there. That does not come with it. And let's also check out the screen. You can see that this screen is huge, and it is full. It is a monochrome LCD screen, so it has a quick cure time as well compared to a regular LCD screen. Once I have put this printer through its paces, I'm actually going to do an entire video on it because I do think that when you combine the sheer size of the print that you can do with the relative affordability compared to other large format resin 3D printers, this printer has a lot of potential in model railroading, especially when you look at HO scale and up. You guys haven't had this available before, so I want to do an entire video on this printer, but for now let's get back into the process of making some detail parts. And for this print, I am using a new resin. I'm using Frozen's water washable model gray. Unlike other resins that I've used in the past, and probably a lot of you have used, this does not require IPA or denatured alcohol to clean it after the print. It can simply be put in water and you can wash off all the excess resin, and I've already tested it and it works very well. So I go ahead and plug my flash drive in that I loaded all my models in on the computer. I pour in the resin. I don't need to load it to max because these aren't huge models, and then I can go ahead and start up the print. And in about 2.5 hours later, I had all of these models on my base plate, and they printed out pretty well. I was pretty happy with these prints. So I can go ahead and remove them and put them into my wash and cure station. Now the Elegoo Mercury Plus wash and cure station is actually two separate things, one for the wash and one for the cure. And again, this is just water in here, which is really good because this thing holds 7 liters of liquid. So if it was IPA or if it was denatured alcohol, this would get expensive really fast. So that water washable resin is already paying for itself, and it's not that expensive anymore. I'll link this in the description below. So once that was complete, I was able to take those out and let them dry, and then I could start cutting off supports. And for some of them I cut off the supports, and some of them I actually left it on, like the gutters and things, that's really small parts. I left the supports on because it would be very difficult to get them off in this state, and they needed to be cured out. So I went ahead and put them in the curing station of the Mercury XL and ran them for about 5 minutes. I will cure typically anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes depending on the part. I did do another round of these later, and you'll see why in a second. And I ended up doing it for 10 minutes, and that actually worked a little better. Now, one thing, the reason that I did that is because when I tried to trim the fire escape, it ended up like this. So I had to go back and reprint it and cure it out with the supports on it and cut it off later. And now it is time to paint, and you will see me using just some spray paint right here, nice and easy. First thing I do is black for the trash bag and the fire escape, then silver for the light fixtures, then I do green for the dumpster, then I do a driftwood color for the pallet, then I do a nice brown for the trash cans. Now I can go ahead and start trimming off the other parts that I did not paint, which include the gutters. And then once I've done that, I can go ahead and start gluing things in place. And I'm just using some of that Starbond high viscosity super glue. First I glue the dumpsters, then I glue the trash bags right next to it to make it look like there was some lazy employee who just said, you know what, doesn't need to go to the dumpster, I can just put it right beside it. I then glue a couple of trash cans right there as well, because I figured all the garbage trucks are going to go right there. I then use a mini clothespin to support the light fixture as it dries. Then I can glue on the fire escape, which thanks to the glue holds pretty snug really quick. Then I can glue on the pallet, and then last but not least, I can attach the gutters. And here are the final results. You can see I got the dumpster, the trash bags, trash cans, and the pallet right there. You'll notice that I actually don't have the awning or the power box that I printed. Those just didn't work out in the print. I didn't really like the way they looked. But these all worked out great. I was really happy with them, and I'm really happy with the way that fire escape turned out. That one was a bit tricky, so I'm really happy for the way that one turned out. Resin 3D printers have really opened the floodgates in terms of custom details for your model railroad, and never has it been this easy to make those custom details in your home. So I'm really excited to not only see what 3D printing is going to keep doing to the model railroading hobby, because it's nothing but positive in my opinion, and I'm also really excited to see what these larger resin 3D printers are going to do for people in the bigger scales like HO scale, O scale. You know, it's been great for N scale for a while, but these bigger printers are going to really open it up for the larger scale. So I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Be on the lookout for that video on this 3D printer, and until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, and happy railroading.